the laws of personal sovereignty. Today we discuss. Today we are going to review an interesting manifesto that is called the 29 Laws of Personal Sovereignty. I thought it was very interesting. This thing was made by IMI Daily. I believe that's the name. It's actually a very well-known service for expats and internationals regarding passports, residencies, and things like that. And I've been following this particular service from some years, and I think it's a very interesting resource. And today we are going to review these particular laws of personal sovereignty that I thought they were very interesting, just to discuss a little bit. So let's start. Number one is never give one country a monopoly over you. And this is something that I wish someone taught me that when I was very, very, very young. I was started learning about these issues on my late 20s, early 30s. I traveled a lot before that, but I did not quite understood how important is to be a sovereign individual, and specifically regarding your paperwork, your passports, and things like that. Because the most important thing about getting, a second passport, residency, and learning about these issues is because you are basically you are diversifying your political risk. I discussed this actually just this week. That is a luxury belief ignoring politics. It's like Ayn Rand used to say, you can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And it's very, very, very important that you diversify yourself, of course, within your means regarding your budget. And that's one of the reasons why you also need to be, financially independent, to say the least. Number two is never assume where you are from is where you belong. And this is very important because most of the time, not always, but most of the time, the places where you're gonna excel and you're gonna get the best results, you're gonna get the most synergy, the best outcomes, is not necessarily the place that you are from. It could be your particular hometown, your city, or in my case, your country, even your continent. That's why I always discuss the importance of geo-arbitrage yourself for everything. Business, finance, supply chain, dating. The options are infinite because most of the time, the best outcome not necessarily is going to come within your country or even your region. Number three is taxes. As always, never pay more taxes than legally required. I think it's self-explanatory. Pay your taxes legally, do everything legally, but just don't pay more than you are legally required. So that's it. Number four is about military conscription. Is never leave yourself open to military conscription, and of course, that's up to you how nationalistic you are. If you want to fight for your country, if the time comes, well, very good for you, but should be more of an option rather than a demand. Number five is never rely on government for protection. And this is actually very self-explanatory. Yet again, I'm not saying I don't have this particular distrust for governments overall. You have some, it's like a scale of gray, 50 shades of gray of government. And what happens is that depending on the government, most likely, and also depends on the political cycles, historic cycles on your particular country, you might be on a cycle of good governance or on a cycle of bad governance or somewhere in between. And regarding how the government is going to protect you, well, that's up to you. Number 6 is never assume your country wants the best for you. And trust me, I know that one. I learned that the hard way. Yeah. Depending on the government, of course, yet again, these particular shades of gray. And I, from my own government, I got the very dark gray color. Yet again, never assume that. And of course, that strategy rely on you rather than your own government. Number 7 is never depend on a single passport or residency. Completely 100% agree. Now, the biggest issue is not about getting a second passport unless you can get it very, cheaply or free, like, by the cent or just by a glitch that you have at any given time. But for the rest is very important. I mean, every time that you are in the position of getting a second passport or residency, please do so. Number 8 is never keep your assets in one country. Yet again, political diversification just as important as financial diversification. Well, there is a saying in finance that diversification is a luxury for the rich. Same thing with paperwork diversification. Let's call it like this. Yet again, if you're in the position, doesn't cost you as much, go ahead and do so. Number 9 is never keep all of your homes in one country. Now, in this particular case, I don't understand if he refers as houses, physical real estate properties, or homes. Because regarding real estate and things like that, it's going to depend where you get the best outcome, the best ROI, and also luxury and things like that. So the real estate strategy. So I don't agree 100% with that. And regarding home, the place that you call home, many times is yourself. I mean, you can just move to a country that becomes home very quickly and you rent an Airbnb, you are surrounded with family and friends and things like that, and that's your home. So this thing, I'm coming on a 50-50. Number 10 is never keep all of your bank accounts in one country. I 100% agree, and mostly because it's more convenient. I do it more than convenience rather than distrust. It's because it's very important for many reasons, depending also the banking rules and things like that, that depending on what is your transaction or many particular, let's say, applications for different bank accounts on different countries, and it gives you flexibility and more convenience. And just for the practical sense, I 100% agree, but also I understand, let's say, the sovereign part. Number 11 is never expose all of your money in a single currency. I agree 100% again. However, what I will say is first, you have to differentiate each currency. Usually you should have it on hard currency. And, these particular weak currencies in order to pay something locally and things like that. And also, I mean, I'm not going to discuss about crypto or gold or silver, things like that. So yet again, agree, but, Number 12 is never attach emotionally to a country. This is the one probably that I don't agree. First, I consider myself very nationalistic and I love my country. And the thing is, I'm something like a promiscuous nationalist. I love several countries, I've been in, if you follow my content from a while, I love Argentina. I love the US actually. I used to like Canada. I love some countries in Europe. I love many countries in Latin America. So depending on the case. So I love my country, my home country, and also I love several countries, but it's a promiscuous relationship. And on this particular case, I will say, yeah, I mean, because you need to have passion for a particular country, not just treat it like like a warehouse or something like that. So this is probably the only one that I don't agree. Number 13 is never tell anyone how much Bitcoin you own. Pretty much self-explanatory. Number 14 is never speak just one language. 100% agree. Because here's my interpretation why I love speaking more than one language is that it gives you cultural diversification. Because something that I see on people that only speak one language, especially if that language is English, is that I see a lot of ignorance. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that someone that speaks more languages is better than someone that doesn't just speak one languages, but I see a lot of ignorance on their thoughts and opinions, sadly, especially when they talk about another country that is not their own country. And the other thing is, and this is, by the way, this is the beauty of learning languages, is that regardless if you manage to learn, you are become fluent on such language, you at least get the perk of getting to know the culture on such language. For instance, I start learning like 10 different languages and I speak way less than 10 languages today. However, each language taught me and showed me how is the culture, how these particular people, depending on the particular language, how they think, how they reason, how they do business. So it gives you a significant advantage. Just start learning a particular language. Number 15 is never stop learning high value portable skills. Okay, I'm not 100%, I like 80% agree on this particular thing. Because first, learning skills is something is beautiful because this is something that they will never take away from you. They can take away your gold, your real estate, your wallet, your Bitcoin, whatever may be the case. But they will never take any particular skill. Let's say if you learn just some magic trick or something like that. I mean, you're always gonna own that unless you forget how to do the magic trick. So that's the beauty of learning skills. Now, the issue is a high value portable skills. Now, the issue, and this is the part that I don't agree, is that in order for a skill to become high value, you need synergy. You need, I'm an economics nerd, and in economics, there is a term called the means of production or factors of production: land, labor, and capital. So you need synergy in order to create wealth from a particular skill. And many times you are not going to have access to the capital. Capital is everything, material like a computer, a camera, technology, things like that. Land is the place where you do the business. And labor is the quality, and that's what it's referring to, this particular law of personal sovereignty. So many times, sadly, if the skills is the only thing that you have, you are not going to be able to create the synergy in order to create wealth with such skill. Still a great advice and a great law to live by. Number 16 is never publicly announce travel plans. And well, I consider myself very, I like my privacy and, keep things to myself. So yeah, agree yet again, 100%. Number 17 is never give bureaucrats more than they are required, that they are requiring from you. Well, the thing is that, yes, but you have to comply with bureaucracy. Sadly, it is what it is. Number 18 is never assume laws will remain favorable to you. Well, in one particular case, since, I was born, the laws has always been against me for my particular nationality. But that is a great advice, mostly from people like the US and Canada and Western Europe, people that won the geographic lottery. Because on those countries, if you're born on those countries, like 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, something like that, you have great opportunities that you're not gonna have elsewhere. And you think that you are privileged, but that thing can change by these historical political cycles that we have explained here several times. So, yet again, completely agree. Number 19 is always maintain location independent income, and is great. It's an excellent 100% something I say all of the time. Now, it's easier said than done because it's a pipe dream to think that everyone will have a remote work or a remote business, things like that. It's very, 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 very hard because you need synergy. And yet again, the funny thing though is I have a remote business, but it's very, very, very hard to come by. Now in the US, this trend with remote jobs that also apparently CEOs of companies are cutting that particular lever. But anyways, yeah, 100% agree. Number 20 is always make sure a portion of your wealth is portable. 100% agree. Yet again, you have to move, or you want to keep moving, being a slow traveler, a digital nomad, whatever may be the case, or maybe just fluctuate on a couple of cities. Yet again, 100% agree. Number 21 is always assume governments will become more restrictive. And yet again, 100% agree, something to live by. Many people don't consider this because many times it doesn't matter how hard you work or how hard you invest or how talented you are or whatever may be the case. Many times, most of the time, you don't control your life. Things outside of control your life. That includes several governments. So, yet again, always assume the worst with each government worldwide. Number 22 is always assume that permanent residencies or passports will be harder to get later. 100% agree. That's why, you have to strike when the iron is hot. Number 23 is always have a counterparty free way in order to move money. Yet again, just for convenience purposes. 100% agree. Number 24 is always own assets that can be seized. Well, yet again, every asset can be seized. Even Bitcoin, by the way, and crypto, regardless of who you are or what do you do. Yet again, basically, well, this is the, let's say, the lesson from the Egyptians that you can take things with you to the afterlives. And on this particular is a philosophical thing that I don't agree, is that there is not an asset that that cannot be seized. Anything can be seized. The only thing that cannot be seized is your learning, your skills, your intellect, your knowledge, your experience, basically intangible things that maybe you want to call them an asset or not, but from the rest, everything can be seized. Number 25 is always be prepared to defend yourself physically and legally. 100% agree. Usually what I like to do is basically play, hedge my bets on every single way. So instead of defending myself, what I try to do is not put myself in position on physical challenges. I mean, not saying I'm not doing exercise, but something like going to a bad neighborhood, something like that, or legally try not to put myself on a legal dire situation. So basically, it's like this, the 7 habits of highly successful people. And again, be proactive, no reactive. Number 26 is remain fit because weak or sick people can be free. I agree like 90%. Of course, try to be as healthy as you can. But something that comes, I mean, I see this from the quote unquote first world countries, usually the US. Sadly, it is what is in Europe, at least they have good healthcare and good food. In the US, it's not the case. So, I come from, of course, from Latin America. And something that happens is that doing, being going to the gym and doing this beautiful, fit lifestyle life, that's a luxury. And here's why. Because your survival depends on working your ass off, but not only working, it's just 24/7, you have to think how you are going to solve your financial situation. And many times you don't have time because this requires time, money, and energy. Being, fit, healthy. Because I've done it. By the way, I've done it. I'm a gym. I used to be a gym rat. I'm not right now. And I used to, count carbs and my macros. And I did that crap, by the way. And sadly, it's counterproductive for business purposes, by the way. And this is my experience. And many people are going to jump here. But if you're watching this from Latin America, you know from what I'm speaking. It's a luxury. So sadly, it's a luxury. Make money first and then worry about your health. And because the health of a poor person, nobody cares. Number 27 is always think 3 steps ahead. consider geopolitical risk. And well, we discuss this basically every day here on this channel for everything: business, finance, dating. There's a geopolitical risk for dating, by the way. We're going to do a video just talking about it. Not today. I mean, just for the weekend. But yes, try to think 3 steps ahead, because it doesn't matter how smart you are, how hard worker you are, how, talented, handsome you are. Not my particular case. Well, anyways, Sting, a lot of bad things can happen. So when actually things go great, that's a miracle. Actually, that's beautiful. And yet again, I love, being a chess player and being in strategies, and also reading the art of war and and learning about game theory and then Nash equilibrium, things like that. Yet again, you have to always be, keep on your thoughts and be quick in order to move, in order to strategize everything in your life. Number 28 is keep a portion of your finances off banks and off the exchanges. Agree 100%, just for practical reasons. Number 29 is the last, but actually is my favorite, and it's the most practical, so listen this. Build a global network of people, of a circle of people that are kindred spirit. And probably this is by far the best advice, and something that it won't cost you money, but it's going to give you a great rate of return. In my job, and the reason that I can consider myself that I'm good at my job is that it's my network. I always mention that the brand here is boots on the ground. And the reason why I am able to deliver is because I have a big network on 50 different countries. That particular network has a network of their own, so it's a huge network, and most of them are superstars, great people, soul of the earth people. They have taught me a lot. By the same token, I think that I provided value to them as well. So it's a constant synergy, a constant compounding effect worldwide. And by the way, if you are going to take just one of these particular 29 laws, take this one. That will be all for today. 29 laws for personal sovereignty. Which one is your favorite? Leave it on the comments below. Thank you for watching Continental Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. And if you want to work with us, continentalinsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.